सुन जाएंगे तो बीच में जला के चले जाएंगे, ये जला के चले जाएंगे उस तरफ। Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Prabhuji आपने कौन सी आपने कौन सी नहीं हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण महाराज की आरती के लिए बाद में जब बोलेंगे तब will not be able to
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare माता जी पीछे किसको
जब बोलेंगे तब करना।
हरे एक बार आप देख लो।
After Maharaj says to offer it to the ashes, everyone. Okay? Only after Maharaj says.
अगर सामने से बढ़ जाएंगे तो सही रहेगा। खड़े रहने दो, बोलें नहीं।
ये लो सुंदर बोल। ये लो। कहाँ से पीछे से हटे?
नहीं छोड़ रहे हैं, खड़े हो। लग गया आपको सारा।
ठीक से जला हुआ दिख रहा। इसको जलाना पड़ेगा मुझे। Everyone got the flowers? Everyone got the flowers?
Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Everyone got?
No, here. Over there. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Please come ahead and offer the Pushpanjali here to Maharaj's ashes.
पुष्पांजलि डालना उधर से चल लो
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama.
वो जो जल है ना सब ब्रह्मांडों का जो every
So happens that Maharaj arranged for the holy water from all the temples in the entire Brahmanda. And he's requesting each one of you to offer a drop or two. Yeah? Please, Maharaj is coming.
सारा तीर्थों का जल
Maharaj is going live.
So this water is from
लिखे हैं
Bharat. When
सब
Dasharatha
है
Maharaj, the father of Sri Ramachandra,
सब
was
लिखे हैं।
emperor of the whole world, he collected this water from all of the holy places in the entire Brahmanda and brought it for the coronation of Ram. So that water was used, and then Bharat, the brother of Ram, kept it in a well, and that well is known as Bharat Koop. And this water is from that Bharat Koop, which is the holy water from all over the universe, the Brahmanda.
हरि बोल
We are going to offer in our hand a little directly by
कोई बात नहीं, देना देना देना।
आखिरी प्रणाम है ना
होने दो, सबको देने देने दो, कोई बात नहीं।
अपनी अपनी भावना से
हाँ हाँ। Maharaj, please come forward. प्रभु, कृष्णा प्रभु। हाँ, भैया दोनों। रोहिणीनंदन प्रभु, रोहिणीनंदन।
प्रभु जी
Maharaj, it's going live. Oh. Please, everyone come forward.
Yeah, this is the camera here. Okay. It's Hari.
Last 10 please.
This dog behind. Maharaj. This dog. Oh.
Please, please come forward.
हॉरिजॉन्टल करने के लिए बोल रहे हैं एंगल हॉरिजॉन्टल करने के लिए बोल रहे हैं लाइट के
बंद करना पड़ेगा फिर
ऐसे घुमा दो ना
नहीं होगा
अभी नहीं रुक जाओ फिर याद है गुरुदेव को हमेशा हॉरिजॉन्टल पसंद था, आपने फिर वर्टिकल कर दिया।
नहीं, उन्होंने फेसबुक पे
फेसबुक वर्टिकल है, यूट्यूब हमेशा हॉरिजॉन्टल है।
तो बंद कर चालू करूँ?
नहीं, अभी नहीं। मंत्र शुरू हो गया। अंदर जब करोगे ना, अंदर जब करोगे तो हॉरिजॉन्टल।
Anyone offered there? Please come this way.
नो,
जय हो।
भक्तिवेदांत
त्रिदंडी
स्वामी महाराज
हरे 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 राम कार्तिक वृंदावन धाम में कृष्ण पक्ष भारतवर्षे वृंदावन तीर्थ पूज्य शिला महाराजा सदाम
लो, आप ले लो। मेरे को ना प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो रहा है।
Everyone got to offer? Everyone is done?
राम हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम प्रभु जी
हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद थोड़ी सा
आ जाओ
और भी
गोविंदा गोविंदा
प्रभु जी महाराज
स्वामी
प्रभु जी
माला दो
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Jaya Yamuna Devi, Jaya Yamuna Devi. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jai
Pujyapada Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Jamuna Maharani Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Has given the world such a, ever since I met him, wait, let me go from my basics just to my Now Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Deswara Bhutara Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Etimani Namaste Saraswati Devi Vrndavana Pujyapada Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja Krishna Krishna Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. So I offer my humble obeisances to my Harinam Guru, Swami Maharaj, my Shiksha Gurus, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, all the Vaishnavas and Sannyasikam, and all the devotees that will listen to this also, and all the demons that are present here all over. So I take your permission to start the program. Blessings. Begin. Okay. Okay. So I first met. I came to India in 1991. I came to stay. This was my idea. And I was living in the Krishna Balaram temple. And the first person I met was called Narada Muni. This is Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. And immediately, first time I talked, we became friends. Immediately. And he brought me up to his room. Such hospitality, I didn't even know him. He brought me up to his room immediately, and he fed me, and he gave me 2 books, Bhakti, Radharasa Tridandi, and Bhagavad Gita, and some other things. And first time I met him, and he's teaching me, and he's training me, and he's giving me all this insight into Gopi Bhav. This was my first introduction to that, so I owe that to him. From that moment on, he shared everything with me, everything he had, everything that he was privy to. That means his material knowledge, his spiritual knowledge, everything, all his secrets he revealed to me, because we were very good friends. So, over the course of time, I traveled with him, I lived with him, we shared different discourses on spiritual values, material lives, things like this. So we never kept anything hidden from him. He's a very open person, very learned person, very worldly-minded person. This is totally a fact. He told me his whole life, and I know from when he was young to when he was older. And he had such an experience of the world, even before he came to Krishna consciousness. He traveled all over. So he was very broad-minded, he had a lot of experience, and every single moment of his life, since I've known him, he shared his mind, his senses, his heart, his words, for the benefit of everyone. That is why he became so successful, because Gurudev blessed him, because he gave everything he had to fulfill the desires of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Narayana Maharaj. So he was blessed 100%, and I'm so happy that I'm here speaking about him. So I'll just mention a few things which probably no one really knows. I'm not sure audiobooks, and he got me into doing narrations of it. And I learned from that. That's why he was such a good speaker. Because when you hear audiobooks and you listen to your stuff, you get a good foundation of how the audience is experiencing what you're saying, your tone, your vibration, your mood. And I learned that from him. Now, when I was with him doing the audiobooks, it was in Govardhan, near the mount, near the Giridhari Govardhan. And we're doing the books and everything, and he's doing his audio, he's transferring everything. So he looks down and he grabs his notebook and he picks this notebook up and he looks at me and he goes, "I've never shared this with you." So he opens up the book and he starts reading from it. And he started to read this magnificent, I mean, unbelievable, deep, touching poetry that I had no idea that he had that nature in him. But when I heard it, I was so astonished. I began to realize he is not a good man can write poetry like that. I've never heard poetry like that in my whole life. It was so beautiful. So while we were there, also, I say he had an accident and he was bleeding all over the place. And he called me and I came in and I told him what to do. And, he wanted to take rest, go to bed, and I told him, if you go to sleep, I said, you're going to move your foot. I put holding on and taped it up this way. If you fall asleep, you're going to move your foot and it's going to open up. And you won't be here in the morning. And it was in fact, it almost happened to me. So anyway, I don't want to go too much because there's a lot of people that want to speak. But what he did for the world, for us, as an example, for bhajan, for chanting, he chanted like 64 rounds, 10 years before I even met him. And then during his lifetime, he chanted more and more and more. And for like 20 years, he chanted 64 rounds. And then his philosophical insight was very more deeper and deeper and deeper. So there will be so many people speaking about him today, so I want to give a lot of time to that, so I'll stop there. And then I'm going to first start, I think, with this one sannyasi, then maybe another group, another group, another group. And to speak, maybe we should try to keep it limited, not too much talking time, and because we want to hear from a lot of people, especially the disciples and others who know him well. So I'll start off with the sannyasi time. So I think maybe who's senior there or who wants to speak? All right, you choose which one. You choose which hand and that speaks. This one or this one?
Tapasvi Maharaj. Tapasvi Maharaj.
You come. You please give your wonderful narration of an experience with your children.
Maybe we should pull up a second chair. Another chair. Maharaj, would you like us to do that? Chair is good. Bring a chair. You're the chair.
Can you tell me when 10 minutes is finished, just so I know?
Maharaj, these are Indian.
Om Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashri Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Offer my satsang pranams to my beloved masters, Nitya Leela Pravishta Srila Vrndavana Maharaja, Nitya Leela Pravishta Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, Nitya Leela Pravishta Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, Nitya Leela Pravishta Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to all our Rupananda Guru Varga, to all the Sannyasigam Vaishnava, especially to Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, offer my satsang pranams. Hare Krishna. So, of course, most of us, we never think that we will be doing such an event as today. And as Srila Bharati Maharaj would tell us sometimes, I don't know whether I am fortunate or unfortunate. Meaning that as elderly, many of his godbrothers and friends were passing away. And so he didn't know whether he was fortunate that he's still alive or that he's unfortunate that many were disappearing. So certainly for myself, I lost a good friend in the sense of course Maharaj is always there in our heart, but each one of us has an individual relationship with Maharaj, and certainly for me I felt his support and friendship for many years in my life. And Maharaj had in English we say black sheep. And sometimes there's a black sheep. And sometimes the black sheep has the task of sometimes people misunderstanding that black sheep because you're a different color. So Maharaj was very colorful. He had many aspects to him. And I think that was is that every day when I was with him, living with him, we never knew exactly what that day was going to look like. And so that was the excitement at times. And I saw in Maharaj this young boy that was very excited to Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. And many times Maharaj liked to reflect, to sit and reflect on. So at times he would sit in his room and discuss the Siddhanta, discuss Gurudev, and by this I learned that just by reading, just by studying, we can only get so much. But actually by discussing with the devotees, so much richness comes. And Maharaj was always busy. He had so many Zoom programs going on. Him and Yashodananda would have a competition. Yashodananda would tell Maharaj, oh, I have 13 readings a week for 1 hour. And Tridandi Maharaj would say, oh, that's nothing. I have so many Zoom calls every day, and I'm doing, virtual parikrams. So in this way there was like some competition between them. And sometimes Maharaj would go into Man. He wouldn't speak. So on those days, the house was quiet. I was in my room, Maharaj was in his room, and we understood that for those times, no talking. But then, at times I would tell Maharaj, come on, let's go on parikrama. And he would go, no, 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 I want to stay here. I don't need to go anywhere. I'm happy here. So I said, come on, let's go. This is in Gauramanda. So during the lockdown, because Maharaj is also, I wouldn't say a terrorist, he likes to do exciting things. So he thought, okay, let's go during lockdown. So during lockdown, we went through all the different temples, places of Mahaprabhu's associates. And he got so much life from traveling to all these places. And then Maharaj started to speak. Like in Denur, where Vrndavana Thakur wrote the and all these places. And he was so excited to be with all the different, we had a small group, maybe 5 devotees. And in this way, we passed our time through lockdown. And to be in lockdown with Maharaj was a very unique experience. Because we weren't allowed to go anywhere out of the room. And so me and Maharaj decided that we're going to sleep less. And he said, I just watched this YouTube program where we only need 2 hours of sleep a day. So he said, are you ready? And I said, okay, let's try. So then for some weeks, we actually practiced sleeping only 2 hours a night. And of course, every time I started reading, I fell asleep. And in this way, me and Maharaj, we were like joking and laughing with each other that, okay, we're doing this, and we are performing this austerity, so we have more time to read and study together. And he loved to discuss, as Prabhu was saying, that on these rasa topics. So we decided that the wall with maps, and he got these big pieces of paper, and we started mapping out all the different books and all the different siddhantas. And he became more and more excited, and every morning he would wake up, rush over, and want to add something. So in that way, it was a very sweet exchange. And one night, I was sleeping, and Maharaj was banging on my door. This was maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, which was usual in one sense. So many things were happening. And he's banging on my door about 1 o'clock in the morning. And he said, you have to come come now. So I went out, and there was this dog in a well. And the dog was paddling for dear life, and it couldn't get out of the well. So he said, I've been here for half an hour with all these villagers, and no one can get this dog out. You have to get this dog out. So that was Maharaj's kind of beauty. There was no question of, can you do it, should you do it? He said, you get the dog out. So often he was like that. He was just directive. Okay, do this, do that. And so I didn't think, of course, it's an Indian dog and it can bite you and you can get rabies. And it was one of those wild, kind of crazy dogs. So he said, there and pull that dog out. So I leant over and I grabbed the dog. I was a bit hesitant to begin with, but he was saying, go on, do it! So I leant over and grabbed the dog. I pulled the dog out of the well and put it aside, and then he slapped me on the back and said, well done. So sometimes it was a little like being in the English army or something with Maharaj. You had these orders, and if if you hesitated for a few moments, then you were in trouble. And I would often sometimes wonder why this shouting was going on outside. And Maharaj was like, not often, but sometimes he was shouting with the owner of where we go through. But actually that owner, what I found fascinating about Maharaj, very unique, was that he could get into so much conflict, and in the end it would be resolved. It was fascinating to me that, you know, people would come up, situations would happen, and then he would fight with them and struggle with them, and he wouldn't agree with them, and they wouldn't agree, and these were locals, these were all different kinds of people. But somehow or other, in the end, they loved him. So that showed me that Maharaj, his heart was and very sweet and very loving. And what he thought was good for you, that he was convinced of. And there was one devotee that was staying with us for a short time during the lockdown, and he had some trouble in his family. And Maharaj was preaching to him, just stay in Mayapur. And he was thinking, no, I'm going to go back, I've got to sort a few things out. And Maharaj just told him every day, don't worry, just stay in Mayapur. And he was just telling him every day, stay here, don't move. And he was like pinned against the wall. And he was like, I think I should go back. I said, no, you stay here. And that devotee is still in Mayapur. And he has been there for so many years. So it's like a hard love sometimes that Maharaj has. You know, he will hold you accountable. And if you slip up, because he was also strong on himself, if you slip up, he'll notice and say, hey. So, what's that? Chastise, yes. Chastise you so many times, yes. Yeah, Maharaj, we would have these heated discussions, and then he'd go to his room, and he'd sit in his room for about an hour, and then fling the door open and say, okay, yes, you have a good point. So there was always, it was never boring, and it was always exciting. And Maharaj was ready for an adventure. One of the other qualities that was so beautiful about Maharaj was his dedication to Sri Rupa Goswami, that he really, you could feel from the very beginning. I met him also in the 90s, early 90s. He had a great love for the Srimad Bhagavatam. So as soon as I met him, he wanted to tell me about the Srimad. I saw in his whole life that during the Vraj Mandal Parikram, the virtual one, he was having difficulty to continue physically. You help me, and you speak. And then during his japa retreats, he was doing some, and then his heart became difficult. So there wasn't any question of, are you able to do it? You know, will you do it? Okay, you take over, I'm going away for 3 days to the hospital. So in this way, he was so dedicated. And he wanted everybody to get some idea, but to really appreciate what to follow them, yes. And I think one of his favorite topics was the three unfulfilled desires of Krishna. Wherever he went around the world, he had this sheet of paper, and he was always handing it out. And what was on that sheet of paper? Every time, every japa retreat, every kind of retreat, was those 3 desires, and he would test you. So if you were sitting in the front, he would test you, and then he would get on your case if you didn't know them. So that kind of love is, I've seen it one time before with Yashodanandan Prabhu. There was this one lady, I can't remember her name, Prabhupada disciple from England. I think she's American even. And Yashodanandan Prabhu didn't tell her that Gurudev was staying in his house in Brighton. For some good reason, because they didn't want so many people to come. And she came in, and she started shouting at Yashodananda, "Why didn't you allow me to come? I'm so angry at you," and she was like furious. And Yashodananda Prabhu said, "I really appreciate your love for Gurudev. I really appreciate that all this anger you have, you really want to see Gurudev." And so Yashodananda Prabhu was able to understand it wasn't directed at him, it was because of her love for Gurudev that she wanted to see. So with Maharaj also, that sometimes his feistiness and his determination, his resilience, was actually his love. I want you to get this. I want you to understand this and to digest it. So I'm grateful to remember Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, and he's always, like Yashodananda Prabhu told me, he said, "I'm going to be your friend whether you like it or not forever." So I also feel with Tridandi Maharaj that for many, of course we like him, but he is our friend and well-wisher and wanting us to grow in bhakti. Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to ask one of Tridandi Maharaj's direct disciples, Varsha, Devi. Please come and tell us your name for good info.
I first respectfully offer my humble obeisances unto Srila Paramgurudev, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta, and I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Srila Guru, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. And I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the sannyasis present here, and my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here. It's the first time I'm speaking in front of so many of you. So it's still not easy to digest for me that Gurudev is no more with us. Actually, we met Gurudev in 2011 after Param Gurudev's Prakat Leela. So, Param Gurudev, I do not have any close association with Param Gurudev so much. Pujyapada Maharaji, me and my Prabhuji, our family, we took Harinam initiation from Srila Narayan Maharaji. And after that, we came to meet Srila Tridandi Maharaji. So, it was us who were at the back of him that we were asking him to give us Diksha initiation. But initially, he refused. He said, "No, I don't give any initiations, so I don't make any disciples." But still, we wanted to take initiation from him. And he used to come to Delhi. Whenever he used to come to Delhi, he used to to stay with us in our house. And he was so humble, he was so friendly, that he used to say that if you think me as your guru, then I'll never come to your house. He used to say that you have to treat me as your family member. So we had a very nice relationship with him. We came to learn so many things from him. Actually, he was the one who taught us everything actually in this path. Even how to do Ajman, how to do the Pranamandas, everything from the beginning to the end. He was the one who taught us. And personally for me, what I learned from my Gurudev is how to be so humble with everyone, how to be forgiving everyone. I had so many problems in my life, but Gurudev usually asked me, so when you are having problems, then what you are learning? You are learning how to be tolerant. So this is the one thing Gurudev always taught me, that you have to be Vrndavana Sunichem, Tarora Sahishna. Always be tolerant. And the next thing I learned from my Gurudev is that how much Guru Nishtha he had for his Gurudev. In every Katha, in every Hari Katha he spoke, he always mentions about his Gurudev. My Gurudev said like this, my Gurudev spoke like this. So from that we learned that how much Guru Nishtha he had for his Gurudev. So that one thing also I am learning from him. I am also trying to be Guru Nishtha towards him. And next thing what I learned is his determination towards sadhan bhajan. Because even after having so much of problems with his health, so much of heart attacks and so much of skin problem he was never, deviated from the path of his bhajan sadhana. When we used to tell him that please take some medicines, Gurudev, he used to say that no, if I take the medicines then I will not be able to do bhajan. How will I do that? So he was always like very determined to do his sadhana bhajan. He said whatever will happen by the mercy of Radha and Krishna. So and he was fully surrendered to Radha Krishna, and he always says that if I am going to die, then what will happen? Nothing. Because Radha and Krishna, it is their will that if I am going to live or I am going to die. So he had this determination very strong, and he always used to say whatever circumstances are, whatever sufferings come in your life, in your way, you have to be determined to be doing your sadhana bhajan. And Gurudev's speciality was that he was teaching us Bhagavatam. So I know everybody will be aware of all the classes and everything. So some of the disciples are very fortunate to have taken classes with him from Srimad Bhagavatam from 2020 in Corona, and now it's 2026, and he has made us learn all the 9 cantos, and now we are on the 10th canto. And especially we reached the chapter where the gopis are feeling separation from Krishna. So the 30th chapter is about Krishna leaving the gopis and going, and the gopis are feeling so much of separation. So I think Gurudev just left us on that chapter and he went away. So I think that he wants us to, learn or feel that separation mood that the gopis had for Krishna, and we are feeling the separation mood from our own Gurudev. So I would like all of you to bless all the disciples of Srila Gurudev, that they could follow his path, they could follow what he wanted to give us, Mahaprabhu's teachings. So, Mancha Kalpataruvasya Kripasandavevacha Patitanam Pavam. Forgive me for my, I didn't speak so well, but so forgive me.
Thank you so much. Very sweet. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gautam Pracharya Visesa Sundravaya Paschitya Satri Vishnu Kaya Sisima I offer my humble obeisances to my gurus, Bhaktivedanta Swami my 6 gurus, Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja, Maharaja, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja. Very inadequate to be here and speak in front of all of you because you had so much association and you have so much realization. I was very fortunate to do seva to Maharaj regarding his health. He would consult with me and give me some seva. After the departure of our Gurudev, it was very difficult to find shelter, guidance. I always thought that Tridandi Maharaj was one of the persons, the luminaries that Gurudev left to guide us. Whoever spoke, whoever heard from him giving classes will always be enlightened. He was such a great teacher, very didactic personality, teaching step by step. Whenever any devotee asked me advice about to whom they take shelter, guidance, and choose as a guru, always was one of the 3 or 4 persons that I advised or recommended. He was very friendly to me, very merciful. He would always take care of our family. He even invited us sometimes with my kids to his own house and stay with him in Govardhan, in the Parikram, which was very unusual for us, to be with us and with family. He always will chastise my kids if they were sleeping on the class, ask them questions and make sure that they would be paying attention to what the father said. Specialities like they already said, but it's not redundant, is his nistha. His nistha to our Srila Prabhupada and to Gurudev, he always would repeat, and that's one of the repeat what he heard from them, and that's one of the reasons because I always recommended him, because he always was attached to his teachings and nothing else, repeating what Srila Prabhupada said and quoting as well as Gurudev. So I offer my humble obeisances to him, to our Gurudevs, and I ask him to please give me his blessings to have a drop of attachment as he has, a drop of nistha as he has, a drop of determination to be in the path and never deviate, these parampara, these teachings. I see that he was doing so much austerity, living in Mathura, almost by himself in Durvasa ashram, always doing so much austerity to the point of even he was not taking the medicine and depending fully on Krishna's arrangement. have learned a lot from him, especially, I many times was very busy, and every morning I would hear some of the recordings, the books. That's one of the greatest services he has done to read Gurudev's books and give them for the public, and make it very easy to. As he said, I don't know if I wrote to Gobi as soon as he saw Govardhan that he was very fortunate, but very unfortunate. He's very fortunate because he has go back, to Gurudev's shelter, but we are very unfortunate because we lost a great teacher, a great sannyasi, a great example, a great devotee on our nation. So I offer my humble obeisances to him. Vanchakata to
Yeah. The small one.
Thank you very much for talk on Tridandi Maharaja. Now we'll ask him to speak, and then we'll rotate around back and so Shashiko will come next. Okay, so everybody please speak loudly because
unlimited obeisances in the dust of the Lord's feet, my Harinam Gurudev, Nityalila Prabhu Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja, Srila Prabhupada, send to our Diksha Guru and Bhajan Gurudev, Nityalila Prabhu Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaja, to my dear most Shiksha Guru, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, to all sannyasi present here, Vaishlavi, to Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj, my most humble obeisances. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Rai Ramananda what was the greatest suffering, he replied, this is the loss of Krishna. So, we have lost, yes, a family member, a god brother, who was always so gentle and exemplary also. I was doing some video with Gurudev on morning walks, and how at one point the sannyasi had problem with one another, then they called someone who was dealing with settle, and the way he presented to Gurudev, no, Gurudev, we are in harmony now. We are so, now we understand, we love each other, we will cooperate. He was always trying to uplift the mood for the pleasure of Gurudev. His contribution for the mission of Gurudev was exemplary. It was really he made some very good little book, Beyond Liberation, and then the Jivadharma, how we, and on the Zoom we heard this, and actually I think I'm missing out because I was not associating with him so much. But I feel that at least that I could have had a good shiksha. Yes. It's when they leave that you understand what you have lost. One day it's here, you casual. He was always very, very kind to his fallen soul. When we had to arrange for Krishnadas Brahmachari, we had to go forward and there was so much things to go on. I had faced some people were not pleased that I was the one who's going to get all the funds and manage his hospital and everything. And Tridandi Maharaj, dear was God brother, he was so supportive. He was the only one who said, Shashi, you must do it. I know you can, you're honest. You will not take anything. Because people were doubting. I said, that's correct, Maharaj. Every time I went to Agra, I tell people, buy 1 bottle of water with that money. And he said, I know, Shashi, I know. He was just a very good brother, a brother who could understand my heart. Sometimes he would come up, we could have mother when he would come back from morning walk and he would say, Shashi, it's for you from Vrndavana. You know, little things like this that makes you, that you feel that you're a little dear to your family, that they understand your heart. He was an example. He was a perfect Grihastha when he was a Grihastha. He was a perfect Vanaprastha when he was a Vanaprastha. And he was a perfect sannyasi. Everything was perfect in his attitude, in his behavior, in his relationship with everyone. It's not like on a white cloth, if you have a dark spot. There was no dark spot with Maharaji. And I related that the day left. I remember my Ishwar Prabhupada, who left the world when he was translating Bhagavatam on his bed. In the last class on Ramananda Samvad, 8th chapter, verse 61 to 62, the day before, in the last moment he was giving Harikatha, and it was a very beautiful lecture. So I went through that Ramananda Samvad, and the last words of that shloka and purport was, and that one who follows is a perfect person to go back home. Perfect. And this is how I felt with Maharaj, that he was perfect. He was perfect. And it's true that now I feel that when I had difficulty, I should have gone to him and said, Bhaya, Maharaj, you help me, or now we'll see how it goes. But he is with Gurudev. I have no doubt that he has done so much for Gurudev, his loyalty, his Guru Nishtha. He always told me, Shashi, I don't want to get into all those politics. That's why I remain aloof and I want to do my bhajan. That's all. I mean, that was the greatest example we could receive. Just do bhajan, just chant, and just be fixed. Gurudev is taking care of everything. So we will follow in this mood, that he was always very kind, very merciful to everyone who came to him. He was strong, he was solid, and he was just perfect. As he was just perfect in his Guru Seva. So I offer my unlimited obeisances to that we can also perfect. Hare Krishna, please forgive me and thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Now we'll call Bhaktivedanta Santa Maharaj, please go for Bhaktivedanta
Om Agyanam Tivrindasya Gyanandaya Salakaya Shakshu Vitamina Tasma Shri. I first of all offer my humble obeisances to my Diksha, Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj. I again offer my humble obeisances to my Senior Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj. I offer my respectful obeisances to my Siksha, Guru, and my, guide to Krishna consciousness, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to all the sannyas seated here with us, and to Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj. I have not had a lot of association with Maharaj. The first close association I had with Maharaj was by the mercy of Sripad Tirthapad Maharaj Prabhu, who took me to his place in Radhakan. We went there, stayed there for the whole day, and then we were fed. And I came to know Maharaj not from afar, but close. And I noticed this was a very saintly, very sincere personality. And from there, I started associating with him. Not long after, he wanted to move to Navadvip. And I asked him how he was going to go. And he said he got it all together. He has got, his things loaded up and was traveling all the way to Navadvip. So when he went to Navadvip, he told me where he was staying, very close by, Srila. So when I went, I asked, they told me, oh, I knew it was. So I went to him, and for one whole day, we were just together, talking, and he said, Maharaj, the only thing I want of you now, please, come and stay with me. Stay here, don't go anywhere else. Don't go. Stay here. If you don't want to stay in my place, he had 2 rooms, painted, green color. So you stay here or just go out, you can get any house, I can arrange for you. But I said I have to go back to America. And when I went back, I visited him only one time there. The last time I went there, he was no longer there. And he came back to Radhakan. And the last time, myself, Tirthapad, and who else was with us? We were 3. No, Gurutama. Only recently, we went and we were doing Govardhan Parikrama. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, and we wanted to visit him, but it was so hot by the time we had finished. We couldn't manage it, so we decided to leave. And up till now, it pains me that I couldn't go to see him, the last time, and that was the last week we would have gone to see him. Anyway, he reasons, ill who thinks a Vaishnava dies. This is a poem by Srila Bhakti. He wrote this story of Srila Haridas Thakur. He reasons ill who thinks a Vaishnava dies. When thou art living, when thou art what? Living in sound. When thou art living in sound. A Vaishnava never dies, he's always there in sound. The sound he has produced. So when you go online, you go to Bhaktivedanta Tridandi.com, I think. Tridandi.com. And you go there, he has everything that he has written. And when I am in need of any diagram to do my preaching, I go there and I tap on his diagram sketches and I get something to preach. He has everything down to the detail. So he's always very precise when he wants to preach. Very precise. Put the diagram down for you. No, when you do it this way. So every time I have any doubt, I just click on his page, go to the diagrams, and I get whatever I want. So he's living in sound. And we can also see that he's always living with us. Every devotee of the Lord who has come are always with us in whatever circumstances. So the disciples should never think, oh, my Gurudev has left. No, this is the time that your Gurudev is in a separation with you. You should imbibe that knowledge, that essence that he has given. That mood that he has given. So to the devotees whom I don't know, many of you, I've seen a few of you reacted, please know that he is with you. And whenever you actually want anything, you either go inward and you can, extract from whatever he has taught you, or go to any of his God brothers. There are so many of his God brothers who are around who can also help you as Siksha. So he is giving us this mercy, and we want to carry this mercy along. Do not leave it alone with you. Also spread that mercy. He has given it to you. You also take it and spread it around. This is my only submission I can make about our very good dear God brother. Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Bhaktivedanta Tridandi
Bhakar, amazing. Srila Tridandi Maharaja, he also should remember. Right? You should also remember Srila Tridandi Maharaja. Right.
Yeah, Vanchakapatarinisha, Vipasiniya, Prachapati, Tanam, Padmidyo, Vaishnavyo, Namo Namaha.
Jai.
I just want to say, I was with Tridandi Maharaj many times when he was doing his books. editing and, how much endeavor. I think most people don't realize how much time he had to spend to make those narrations very clear and with proper sounding and everything, so everyone could benefit from those. He took an immense amount of time. That's how much he was dedicated to giving the world his heart and his loving feeling for everyone. So we're so indebted to him for that. So I'm going to call now one of his disciples to come and speak about him, because they have a little bit more of a relationship in the disciple category, so we can hear about their relationship. So I'm going to call Rasa Madhura. Please come and glorify Jesus.
Dandat pranams to all the assembled senior devotees over here. Panchakarmitarunesh, Kripa Sindhuvyaycha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. It's difficult to glorify him specifically on this day. But I would start with my journey, how it began with him. It was almost the physical journey with him, 5 years and little more than a month. He came into my life when my father passed away. My father passed away on 8 January 2021, and he arrived in my life on 14th February 2021. It was so close, and I didn't understood when I met him. When one of my friends, she said, he's staying at their place, and she said, you should come over here. You will feel much better after meeting him. And when I met him, I was just crying and crying and crying. And he listened to me, whatever I said, shared with him that day. And after listening to everything, he said, read something from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. And I read that, and it opened my eyes a bit. That was my first sadhu sangha with him. And then he said, we are starting Srimad Bhagavatam classes from first week of March. Would you like to be part of it? And me, coming from a very impersonal background, from the Sikhism background, I didn't know what is Srimad Bhagavatam. But he didn't give me much time to think on it. That was a speciality. He just gave me a moment, and I said, thinking that might be this will help me to overcome my suffering right now. And I said yes. And then and there, he ordered Srimad Bhagavatam for me, and Srimad Bhagavatam came into my life. And from there, my journey started with him and Srimad Bhagavatam, and that actually transformed my life. Not fully, I mean still in the process, but he really pulled me out from there. I used to disturb him a lot, sharing my audios with him when the COVID was there about my fears. And he didn't chastise me directly. Again, my friend, he shared with her that he can help me in my spiritual progress and not this materialistic thing. If she asked me about how to do chanting, that was his humbleness. He understood my fears, but he didn't told me directly, but through her. And then he gave me the Diksha in Gaur Purnima 2022 when I visited Godrum Dweep with Varsha Didi. And he said, when I asked him, will you give me? He said, we will see, we will see. And then he said, we will see in the morning, and then he gave the Diksha to me. And after that, that very year, I went to Godrum Dweep by myself, alone for almost a month. And he taught me Jiva Tattva. Excerpt from the chapter 16 Jaiva Dharma, and not just once. It was like he told to repeat it 4 times, bare minimum. And one more Prabhuji was there who used to come at that time. To both of us, he used to teach us that Jiva Tattva, and he created that impression in us. And then it was Bhakti Tattva Vivek. This was the process, step-by-step process he dealt me in. Bhakti Tattva Vivek. And for me, at that time, what is Sadhana Bhakti, what is Bhav Bhakti, what is Prema Bhakti, I was like, it was just blowing out of my mind. I could not understand anything. But yes, to some extent, Jiva Tattva to understand. And then he started informally classes for Jaiva Dharma over there, and we were recording audios of that. And somehow he started the live sessions. And he took till almost, I think, 20 chapters of Jaiva Dharma. But then Yashodanandan Prabhuji, he said that he should start from first chapter once again. And then he started once again the Jaiva Dharma. So, after Bhakti Tattva Vivek, it was a Jaiva Dharma which I went through him. He guided me all the way around on this, how to move ahead with Jaiva Dharma. What is the Sambandha Tattva? What is Adidev? What is Brasa Tattva? And the documents he started with me when I was in Godrum Dweep, he just said, "Can you type something for me? Do you know how to do typing?" I said, "I can try. I really don't know because I didn't understand his moves. And whether I have to really understand Guru's moves, that also I wasn't aware of. I can try." And then he started giving me typing documents. And then he said, "I want to do this Surbi Punch book. And I have some matters, you have to do it. No knowledge, where it will go ahead. But somehow that booklet came out with his mercy. And then he started doing the virtual parikramas during Kartik. So again he made me a part of it. So this is where the journey started with him. But he was very particular about few things. He used to chastise me a lot. And when he was here during the Kartik 2024, I asked him, I want to really shift to Dham with your permission. And he said, where you want to go? I said, I don't know, wherever you say, I will go there. He said, okay, you can shift to Radhakund. But I came back to Delhi, and during the Gaur Purnima 2024, I guess, he said, I will be staying here in Radhakund now. And he cancelled all his tickets. It was just in few hours he decided that. And I thought, now I won't be able to come to Radhakund because he's shifting over here. I went back and then I asked him, is it possible for me to shift to Radhakund? He said, okay, but a whole list of do's and don'ts were there for me. said, okay, I will try to follow your instructions. And it will be same as how we were dealing with when we were in Delhi and I was in Godhum team. But it seems Radharani had some different plans. And then he also told me to do this What is Dharma book. We took the excerpts from the Jaiva Dharma in English, Hindi and Bengali. And then he started also taking recently the informal classes. We 4 or 5 devotees were there and he was teaching us what is Uttama Bhakti, what is Sadhana Bhakti, what is Bhav Bhakti and what is Prema Bhakti. And during that informal classes, he was talking something about death. And then he told me directly into my eyes, you are afraid of my death. And I said, yes, I am afraid of it. As if when I connect the dots, I feel as if he was aware of it, that soon. And he also told, when we throw the ashes in the Yamuna or Ganga, we don't look back to those ashes. And when I also one of the devotees' family, they came in January, and he said, we have to take care of them like babies, they are coming like second time. And he himself came to see their rooms, how they are decorated or whether it is all the things are well placed or not. Very comfortable. And he came twice to check their rooms. That was the comfortness he gave to everyone which I have seen through my own eyes. And once in Godhum, I got the opportunity to go to Ekachakra, and by the time I was back to Sulbhi, it was very late. But his humbleness was, he thought I would be hungry and I won't be able to have the evening prasad. So he kept one utensil with the khichdi hanging on the door. And I was so touched with that how a guru can think about a devotee like this. And I felt slowly so grateful to him for all the things he had given to me. And on that, I would like to just complete my Shraddhanjali towards him by just giving a sweet note that he always felt whenever he used to move around Radhavana, he wasn't able to converse with the Brajvasis in Hindi. And he always used to have that guilt that I don't know Hindi, how to learn Hindi. He even downloaded an app. And one day he told me, hardly few months ago, maybe 1.5 months ago, when I used to go to pay him my obeisances in the morning. And he called me, thank you, my baby. Panchakatta Vishnu Kipa Sindhu Yajna Naam Parvana Vishnu.
Thank you very much. Very sweet, very sweet. Tridandi Maharaj simply amazed me every time I was near him. He knew all the different places on the parikrama and all the details about all the places, and he would talk about it constantly. I was amazed. What a memory he had, and how much dedication he had to remember and to speak these things during Kartik, during Gurmukh. It was amazing that he did that. I'm so happy. So now I'd like to go over Imi Nandan Prabhu. Please come and glorify Jesus.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. I had a very special relation with our Pujyapada Tridandi Maharaja, Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. In my initial days, I was very much active in this movement. And I remember it was 93, 94. And I was very particular that no one should leave ISKCON, that is Prabhupada, and I was very, very staunch in that. But then I had already started meeting Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. But I was very afraid that if I meet Gurudev, then they will throw me out, as I was holding one important post as a public relations officer for ISKCON. I was there for a Sunday festival in ISKCON, where I was actively involved in that Sunday program, 1993. So I had met Prajnath Prabhu that time, and Gurudev had not gone for his Western preaching. So I saw both of them, Prajnath Prabhu and Narad Rishidas. His name was Narad Rishidas.
Narad Munidas.
Narad Munidas.
Narada Muni.
Narada Munidas.
I called him Narada Muni.
So I saw him for the first time, and he was so enthusiastic to convince me. I was convinced that I will have to go to Gurudev to understand things, because I had read all the books of Prabhupada, but now I was searching what further. So they both came to me. I don't know, it was like, a crime to talk about Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. It was a crime. And if someone comes to know, then it will be a big blunder. So I was afraid. But these two of them, our Prajnath Prabhu and Narad Rishidas, they both came to me and they started talking about Gurudev, and they were telling me the difference, what he is adding to our bhakti. So I was thinking, they are so enthusiastic to tell me about Gurudev. Then I became afraid that they are known faces for Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja, so they will catch me if I talk to them too much. So I told them, look, this is not the right place to talk, let us go out and talk. So they said, okay, you tell us which is the place. I said, my car is parked in the parking, no one will see us. So they both came and we went to the parking of my car, and they both came and they sat in the car, and we were sitting in the car for 1 hour. They were convincing me that how Gurudev has got so many things and he is not different from Prabhupada. And from that time, I could see that he affected me and I became more fearless. And I came to Gurudev, and then I was, of course, expelled from ISKCON in 1995. I was not supposed to come there back, that you should not come to ISKCON like this. He was always a smiling face and a very enthusiastic person. Whether he was in Kothuru, when I saw him in Sarugaj maybe 3 years back. He was there in the new building over there. Then I saw him and he was very enthusiastic. Oh, Rohini, how are you? Because he knew that those days when he told me about this, and he used to, oh, Rohini, how are you? And a very smiling, enthusiastic. Whether Kothuru, I asked him, how are you staying in Kothuru? This is a village, we believe that one day we will stay here. But he says, no, it is very nice. You come and stay. I remember him for one reason, that I saw him with my eyes. He was a fearless person for death. He was very fearless. And I knew he will have such a pastime which he has shown. Suddenly this will happen. Because he was very fearless. I saw it. Because maybe 16 years back, maybe 10 years back, someone told me that he's admitted to a hospital. He's admitted to a hospital. And in those days, I was also supposed to have one surgery. And I was very afraid to have it.
And I was thinking how to have this surgery, it is very dangerous, and I was very careful about it. So I came to know that he is in the hospital. I called him, I said, Maharaj, he had taken sannyas. I said, Maharaj, I came to know that you are in Vrndavana hospital, which is just a stone throw distance from my house. You never told me. So, oh, there is no need. I said, Maharaj, I would like to bring some lunch, etc., wherever you are, because it's very close to my house. He said, no. I said, Maharaj, who is attending you? Who has come with you for that? You are going to have an operation. He said, no one. He said, no one is there with me. I said, Maharaj, you are going to have an operation and something connected with your heart, that stunt has to be there. No one is there with you. He said, no one. Doctor is there and I will be there. I said, Maharaj, but there must be someone to attend you in the hospital when you come back. He said, no one. That was such a big thing in my life that no one is in his life, and he goes to the hospital for a heart problem, which is to put a stent inside, and there is no one with him. So I don't need anyone. So that's all. He was same smiling and same enthusiastic. I said, he is a person who is very fearless, and because of that, I also had my operation that was successful. Because of him, I also got my operation done, because even though I had people with me, and I was still fearful, and he did not have anyone with him at the time, and after that he called up also saying, I have no money, I have got my operation done, I have come out. And we see that he was always smiling, and he was always enthusiastic, inviting, and whoever has got his association, they can remember the smiling face, enthusiastic, and inviting us. Oh, you come there, you come here. Then I came to know that he came to Radha. Of course, my meeting with him was not so often. Maybe in the last 3 years only I met him in Salubganj, where he was staying over there. With this episode of his, I understand that there is a saying by Bhaktivedanta Thakur. He reasons ill who says Vaishnav die. This is a very famous saying of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. He reasons ill who says Vaishnav die. Thou art living in sound. This was Bhaktivedanta Thakur. That Vaishnavas never die. Today also they are alive with their sound. The sound is the instructions which he has given. I gather from him so enthusiastic, utsahan, nishchaya. Wherever I said, Maharaj, you are staying in Gurgaon, how are you passing your time? He said, I am reading, I am so happy. And that was the time we were going in the parikrama. And he was so enthusiastic, it looked as if, he has so much of association with all of it. And he was so particular about his sadhana. And he was never criticizing anyone. He was always happy. And even though when we tried to ask him, Maharaj, why don't you stay in the mud? He said, I think I'll be better outside and preach more for Gurudev. These are all few small teachings which I got from him, and that enthusiasm which he said. So if someone says the Vaishnava died, this is an important thing we should understand, because this thing was asked to Swami Prabhupada, that, oh Prabhupada, if you go, Swami Prabhupada, who is our foundation for our, until he was there in our life, we would not have come to this extent. Someone asked Prabhupada, when you go away, when you disappear, whom will be associated with? So Prabhupada smiled and says, I will never go. I will never go. I will always be there in my instructions and in my book. In my books, I will always be there. So I understand the initial 10-15 years of that were the base, and today also we feel Prabhupada in our life. Because of him only we are alive. And another thing to understand what Bhakti Pragya Keshav Goswami Maharaj said on this, on disappearance of Vaishnavas. And I heard this from Gurudev also. They said, look, the pastime of disappearance of Vaishnava, you see that he is there and we call it that he has died. How do you see this? How do you see that and you say that this is Leela, but it is very natural that you are doing cremation, you are ordinary. So Gurudev also said this. Says just like, and this example even by Bhakti Pragyan Kesam Maharaj, he said that just like a python, it goes into hibernation, the snake doesn't move also for 6 months. That is cobra or python, which I don't know. One snake, it sleeps for 6 months, it doesn't move also. It doesn't move, it is as if it is dead. This is in our, because I have been little studying the medical science also. Hibernation means when a person doesn't move, it is like dead only. And after 6 months, what happens to the snake? A new snake comes out of that skin. He leaves the outer skin altogether as it is. This is the way we should understand the disappearance of Vaishnavas. That in order to show not any magic, they perform an ordinary activity. They show, this is the word used by Gurudev, Akar. They just leave a outer form and they go in, from that, and they are again now present in another Brahman doing the work of Guru Parampara, and they are doing the preaching over there now. This is the way we have to understand, that they go out leaving a form over there so that we can perform those rituals for the people around. They don't show any magic. Because if they show magic, then what will happen? They'll say, oh, he was a big person who could do all these things, but they show the activities like an ordinary person. So I pay my obeisances to Pujyapada Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja, because he will always there be in my thoughts, because of his fearlessness, for the way he did in those. So many times he went to the hospital, but he was so enthusiastic with the things, and he also gave me so much enthusiasm that I could face my problems of my surgery, etc. So I pay my own senses. Vancha kalpatu vyacha kripa sivya patitanam guru darshan.
Exactly. My experience with Tridandi Maharaj is also very simple too. I've seen him many times be confronted by different people, and he was so bold that they would shake, and they were grateful. But one time he told me personally, he said, I'm only afraid of one person. He said, that's Gurudev. So he told me, when I became sannyasi, I was expected to sit near Gurudev or somewhere on the side, and I was so afraid, so nervous, shaking. Gurudev will ask me to speak. So that was the only time. Other than that, I've seen he was fearless. I mean fearless. Never shook at any time. So now I want maybe one lady, if they want to speak, can they come forward? Any particular lady, like me? Rasa Manjari?
She would
Not Rasa.
Rupa Manjari.
Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari, can you please come and say something?
From New Zealand.
Bhaktivedanta Tridandi and all of my pranams in Guru Shri Bhaktivedanta Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Maharaja my Dandavat pranams Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada. I'm not much of a speaker. I would do my best to say something that perhaps will please my Gurudev. Too far away, okay. So, I came to Krishna consciousness through ISKCON. So, I've been living there 6 years when I first met Gurudev. He was invited to a program I was attending, and his things he spoke just blew me away. And he practically just cut to the chase. He just let it out, and he just about the 3 reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance, the goal, love, these were a lot of just ISKCON devotees, mostly ISKCON devotees. And it was like, wow. I thought, oh my gosh, I got to hear more of this. And I'm usually a little shy to approach and ask, but I went to the devotee, his name is Vrndavana Maharaj now. He was Raghunath Das Goswami, Brahmachari before. And this was in 2020 during lockdown. And I said, I've got to hear more from him, please. So he said he's doing classes over in Goju. So I started attending those classes. And he starts with, we do nectar instruction. Let's do the first verse. So we do gradually. Okay, so we're going through. And then the next class, he did the last verse. I was like, what happened all between, And then he stopped. He didn't really go into more, and then he just went into all these other topics. And and he was teaching us things. And he was like, you don't know anything, Brahmachari. What do you know? Why you don't know anything? 15 years in ISKCON, you don't know anything. So he was always encouraging that way. And I saw a lot of my friends that were also joining the class. It was a nice group, about maybe 6 or 7 devotees.
He got it. He really got the place in Godrum. I was wishing and he had it. He advanced. And then after living in Godrum for 10, 11 years, he got eligibility to come to Vrndavana. In the past name of Radha Krishna, and really he came directly in Vrndavana, the highest place. In Vrndavana, Vrndavana is a spiritual place of Raslila, but more than this is Govardhan, the place of Basanti Ras, and more than Govardhan is the place of Radha where Radha Rani comes fearlessly and openly without any problem. And he stayed there. Not only this, He left his body there. This shows that how much blessed he is. He is blessed, and the way he lived shows the best way, the blessing of Gurudev on him. I always liked his way of his speech, his voice, the gravity of his voice in throat, and the word rolls from his mouth so nicely. My duty was many times to translate, and he used to come and he used to tell me, teach me, no, not pronounce this thing like this, you have to pronounce it like this. And I am Ramchandra Das, incorrigible. But he used to teach me how to pronounce the words many times. Out of love, out of affection. I had very near and dear relation with him. Though we were not together, but by heart, I was always with him and he was always with me. We appreciate each other very much. That is why when I came to know that there is program here, so I could not stop and resist myself, and I have come here. I pay my heartily Pushpanjali and Mukhanjali and heartfelt feelings at his lotus feet. As he has been blessed, we pray him. I pray especially for myself, and I should also be getting blessed. Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
We're all very fortunate to come here by some Vaishnava who took the time to introduce us to other Vaishnavas. And my coming here into the Sangha of Narayan Maharaj was due to one person who convinced me to go higher in bhakti. And when I finally clicked into my brain, I realized the real truth. And I left ISKCON. Although we were very much indoctrinated into serve ISKCON and never leave. And it was very difficult to leave that society because of Prabhupada. But when I left, as soon as I left, Tridandi Maharaj, I think he was in Vrndavana or somewhere in ISKCON. And when he heard I left, we were such good friends, he immediately left ISKCON and came to Shoguri. So, then everything happened after that with my relationship. So, I'd like to call, we have maybe time for 2 more speakers because they're offering now. So, I'll call Pravina and Tirthapad.
Okay.
So, Tirthapad, can you please come up? No, first Tirthapad. Okay, you can come. Quickly, because we have now 3 of them.
Gurube Gol Chandrai Radhikaya Dadare Krishna Krishna Bhaktai Tadvantani Om Agyat Gyan Shilokaya Chakshuni Tasmai Sri Gurube Namah. First of all, I offer my hands of Vrndavana in the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Sri Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupada Ashtottara Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. And similarly, I offer my hands of Vrndavana in the lotus feet of my most beloved Param Gurudev, Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupada Ashtottara Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta and assembled all the sannyasis and Vaishnavas and my god brother and god sister. I give my Dandavat pranams to everyone. Everyone came and gave the glorification of Gurudev. My Gurudev always said that when it's like appearance or disappearance day, we have to actually glorify our Guru Varga. Then the Vaishnavas and Krishna will be happy. So I was like not in that stage to glorify Gurudev now, but even like Bhaktivedanta Maharaja also saying that maybe this is your last chance to glorify your Gurudev. So there is like so many beautiful qualities, like everybody is saying that how friendly he was like, and whenever I was like staying in both room, many devotees come and like Gurudev was like closing the door and like speaking with them like so personally that they have like so many problems and like they come with so much of pain, but whenever they open the door, like they were like going with so much smile in their face because they can share and like speak with Gurudev like this. But among all his like beautiful qualities, like one of the qualities, whenever there is like money came to his like donation, he was always become like so panic. How should I spend the money for Gurudev and how should I spend for the Vaishnavas? And he was like thinking how should I buy a new set of Bhagavatam or CC to give someone. He was like saying, if you saw someone, should I give someone the books or like this? And he was like always like whenever money comes, always like become panic. How should I spend the money for my Guru and Vaishnavas? And even like when like there, because he was like staying there, and after that time also he was like money comes, gives to Bhaktivinoda Thakur Seva and other purpose. And one incident like I was shared that like because I was like that time new and Maharaja also staying there and he was staying in other room like both they are staying, and like he always wants me to read, chant, like you have to do all this. You are here not to serve me actually, because once I went to wash his clothes and he was like so angry with me and he came with me like to slap me because you did not came here to serve me, you came here to serve my mother's mission, so you have to read and you have to chant. Even if I cook for him also for like he don't give me so much time, he give me like this is the time, like time is like 11 o'clock and you have to finish by 12 o'clock and then you have like other sevas to like do. So like he always like encourage people like for reading and chanting, and he always gives so many books for reading and chanting. So the one of the story that when Maharaj is saying that like the banging his door for the dog, same incident happened with me. Once there was like so many big bamboo forests are there, and the owner of the tree, and he called me and said, "You are Bengali, so you should go and speak with him. He should not chop the tree. I will give the money." And he gave. I said, "Maharaj, this is not a good idea. So they can chop." But after that also he said that you should. There was smoke and give 20,000 rupees to that person. You should not chop the tree. And like after 5-6 months, and they chopped the tree. And he was like so unhappy, and he was like saying that like when Maharaj known that incident. So he's not just kind towards the human, like the devotee also is so kind for like the trees, and every day he was like feeding so many like beggars or like birds come to his place. So he was like so kind to the trees that even they have like you always say from Jayavadharma, they have also consciousness. So we should not have to cut them like this. And but most of the Vaishnavas glorify him, so I don't have like so much time. Other devotees will also glorify.
Maybe we have time for 2 more, so let's do the part. Time to last 1 minute.
Radhikaya Tadavaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Manchakampadurvishcha Vipasundevcha Patitanam Kamaryo Vakshavyo Anarpita Charincha Karunaya Vidyanato Samarpayatam Dato Sabhakti Shriyo Ripodasundara Kikadamba Sudipita Siddharya Kandaya Samartinaksha Chinandana Radha Chindari Vishnu Shakti Lamita Sri Krishna Charanamate Tavai Vasmi Najavani Tvai Vina Vitavigaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we raise our hands for victory. Victory is spread the holy name. In that verse, Sharanagati, it actually says, he reasons ill who tell the Vaishnavas die. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living still spread the holy name around. That verse brought me to Shri Maharaj. Die to live. And here's a particular case of a devotee. He threw himself into everything, died to live. And that verse also, me and Tridandi Maharaj, Tridandi Maharaj, we became very close. Die to live. It's a slogan that Sri Maharaj he used a lot. And it brought us together. We actually, every time I'd meet him, he would ask me about something about Sri Maharaj. They came closer and closer like that. And he'd always say, oh, I love it. I love it the way he speaks. I love the way he speaks. So we became very close like that. When he first came, what happened was I was working on, Gurudev just came back from the West, and Gurudev asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm working on the harmonious Gurudev, and I'm working on the Gita, and also there's another book I'm working on too. He said, oh, you're doing so much. I said, yeah, Gurudev, there's nobody to do it. I said, well, you should find somebody. So I went to Tridandi Maharaj. He actually took over the Gita at the time. I had finished the introduction and I was going to do the glossary. But anyway, what happened was very remarkable because he took it over and he did a really great job. He put it out. He asked me, what should I do about all the Sanskrit in it from Vishwanath Thakur? I told him, oh, you just put in as much as you want. So the first Gita that came out, there was so much Sanskrit, people were like, what? So he's like, I should have did that, but he never regretted it. I always loved the first editions. The first editions of any book, you know. So after that, in 2005 actually, he was going to take sannyas. What happened was in this Gita, in this section in the Gita, we got into a little disagreement because Kaliyadamana, he had a printing thing for printing, and we were just starting the publications. like that. And so Tridandi Maharaj, he started, at that time he was Narada, or he was Nanda Kishore.
Nanda Kishore.
Yeah. He came and he started to, regularly come to print off in the press. And so there were so many people that wanted to print off in the press, and we only had one printing thing. And so I said, Prabhuji, Nanda Kishore Prabhuji, we gotta regulate this, we come at a certain time, and then everybody else can get their place, So then he wouldn't stop, he kept coming. I said, Prabhu, you have to come at a certain time. He said, I'll come when I want to, I've got to get this done. It's Gita. Gurudev wants it. I said, oh, okay, well, but we had so many other people. So Kali and Damina, and then they put out, kept going and printing like that. So finally, we were in the bazaar here. Tridandi Maharaj came up to me and said, you're trying to stop the printing the Gita. I said, no, I'm just trying to give it a certain time for people to come, right? He said, no, you're trying to stop it. So you're trying to stop it. I've taken out everything that you made Rasic in the book. Every Rasic definition you have in philosophy, I'm taking it out. I said, okay. So I thought, wow, I didn't even mention that about Rasic. Anyway, so he said, okay. We had a hot and cold relationship like that. So after that, then in 2005, when he started to come up to take sannyas, his way was apologizing. He'd come up to me the night before he took sannyas and says, Tirthapaya, can you teach me about Ras? I don't know anything about Ras. What am I going to do? You're going to ask me. I don't know anything about it. I said, come on. And I'm sure you know as much as I know. Yes. So we became close like that. And his real force, he really pushed this Bhaktivedanta Bhakti. Because coming from ISKCON, Vaidhi Bhakti, rules are very it's true, Vaidhi Bhakti, but this Gurudev was our mood, Ragatmika Bhakti, Mukhi Brajavasi, the Mukhi Vasis, This is, we follow the steps of Raganuga Bhaktis. So anyways, Tridandi Maharaj loved to talk about Rasa and stuff, and when I got together with him, he would always bring up the whole subject of Raganuga Bhakti, and especially the verse in Nectar Instruction, Tannam Rupacharitari Sakirtanadu Sito Kramena Rasa Tishtan Prajetanarahi Chananugami Kalam Akilamit Upadesha Saram. The essence of all lives. This is the turning point where it is in Raganuga Bhakti. So whoever spoke about the first verse, they said he went to the last verse. He hit that verse, 8th verse too, especially. Raganuga Bhakti. He loved to talk about Raganuga Bhakti. Ras. Balaba and I would just, spend so much time. And I was really amazed at his determination when he moved to Govardhan, and when he was doing parikramā, daily parikramā, every day he was going on parikramā like that. Because it was so difficult on him. And that just before he had his condition when he went to the hospital, he was doing it. But new all the leelas and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I was really thought, wow, I know, this, I know how to say, talk about Raganuga, but the leelas, he would always he was so nicely expressing the leelas. So Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Gurudev says, actually Raganuga Bhakti especially is getting into the leelas, the pastimes. If you get into the pastimes, there's so much Vedanta in the pastimes. So he loved his Bhakti pastimes, and that's one thing I really admired about him. Like Gopi said, I never knew anybody that could actually speak like him about the Leelas and pastimes, except maybe Shoti Maharaj. And other people like that, devotees. Of course, Gurudev loved the Leelas, and Shri Maharaj. and he loved to talk about the Leelas Srila Sri Maharaj. One thing I just read recently, Srila Sri Maharaj said, the most important thing, he said, is freedom. Free. He was a free person. He wasn't institutionalized. He wasn't, the only one that he took shelter was Gurudev and the Rupanuga Guru Prabhupada. And here was actually a person that I could say was a real Rupanuga Vaishnava. What is a Vaishnava? There's a verse that when Mahaprabhu was singing before, just when Rupa Goswami Narupam was coming, and Balabhacharya was there. Balabhacharya was a great, scholar, great Sanskrit scholar. And he was actually, I think, the father of Lakshmi Prita, I'm not sure. But in this verse, Mahaprabhu, he looked at Rupa Goswami and he spoke this person, Mahaprabhu, to him before he could speak. He said, Namai Bhaktas Chaturvedi Mad Bhaktas Svapachatriya Tasmai Jayam Tato Gayam Sa-cha Pujo Itatraho. This verse he spoke. He said, even if a person is born in a family of dog eaters, the lowest, if he is performing pure devotional service, he is more closer, more dear to me than a person that is Chaturvedi literatures. He is as dear to his puja as I am, Mahaprabhu said. And then after that, Balabhacharya said, yes, we know, he says, these two people, Srila Rupa Goswami and Anupam, at that time, he said, they're chanting holy names, they're pure devotees. So I'm very proud to say that I had a little bit of association with Pujyapada Tridandi Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaja. And I wish him well in his journey, and I hope I can follow in his footsteps and produce and be more as prolific as he is. So, Vanchakalpatari Vichar, Sandri Vichar,
Thank you very much. Pradyumna Prabhu.
Sorry, I cannot stand today. I didn't have any food and I sleep for the whole day, so I'm feeling dizzy. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi. Om Namo Vishnupadaya Narayana Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi. I could give lectures. I had given lectures in front of students. Now it's impossible before all the Vaishnavas to say something about even my Gurudev, whom I know for the last 10 years. It was a great ride from 2016 to till now. But we know that he'll take care of it from the heart. He was born on 12th June 1949. I was his astrologer to start with. So and then initially, and this was not the main point. I came in contact because I was for a long time, more than 6 years, and then I was watching all videos of all the senior Vaishnavas and from all the places, from ISKCON. I didn't know about Vrndavana. I was asking, then okay, similar robe person, he's saying something on YouTube, and then I watched him. Then that time I got really interested. So he was saying about how bhakti progressed in Kali Yuga, from starting from Alvars. So I come from South India, so then that resonated. So bhakti in Kali Yuga came through Alvars, and then through Ramayacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya. So he was giving the progress, and then he stopped at Mahaprabhu, and then he continued there. So then I said, okay, now I feel like this person can guide me into this. Then when I came directly to Radhavan. I never, once long back I visited Vrndavana, ISKCON, and then that was the first time I came to Dutch, and then it's Radhavan. Then I was very happy to see it. That was during December. Then he took me to the December last week. He took me to take a trip in Radhavan and then Manasiganga. And then at that time, this is 2016, he was so strong. He could take 3 dips, but I couldn't. Only but 2 dips max. So that was his stamina. And then now here you cannot take hot water showers. Here you have to take only cold water. That was so he was starting from the day one. He was started teaching. So yeah, and then he was so humble. You cannot imagine his humbleness. Then whenever I do Dandavata Pranam, do the Dandavata Pranam. Why you are doing like this? No, you come from a Brahmanical background. You are bhakta from childhood. So no, this is not good. It's not correct. So for many years he did. Although I said no, please don't do that. But until he couldn't bend down, he did. Then okay, thank God. Now I can pass over to you. Then that was then. After that, I remember he was always saying his childhood times. His teacher asked him, it seems, that where would you like to go? Which country would you like to visit? Then, out of all people, he is the only one. He said, I want to go to India. Then that made his aim from the beginning itself. Then throughout his life, he traveled all over America. Then he in Africa. He was telling all these things to me. And then he went to Australia. Then he did some seva in France. And then he said, I went even to Japan and all this. Oh, really? See. Then he was telling about all his life. Sometime or the other. So at some point you should also leave your job. That was his desire. He should come 100% and then this one. So he always used to correct me. Okay, you think you know all the meaning of this slogan. Now the meaning of this slogan. Then because I can recite Sanskrit slogans very well. Then we'll do Damodara Ashtami together. For whole month we did So I used to recite Sanskrit sloka. He used to give the same Damodara Ashtami whatever purports. So that was a great experience with him. Wonderful experience. And there is nothing, I mean, now it's impossible to talk because of the heaviness in the heart, but Gurudev said, whenever you get the chance to glorify Vaishnavas, you should do it. That's why I'm doing it. This was every time, okay, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam for so many, for 2-3 hours every Sunday, but if there is a Vaishnava Tithi coming, either appearance or disappearance, please glorify first the Vaishnava. Then will come the Srimad Bhagavatam. That was his this thing. And then chanting Harinam. His daily routine was doing that. He used to get up at 12:30. 12:30 in the morning. And then he used to say, why you are doing so early? No, I have to finish it before 6:30, then I can go for a parikrama, Radhapan parikrama. So this is my, then after I come back, I will again chant, then I will take rest. So his conviction was tremendous for seva to his Gurudev. And then Vaishnavas and then Radharani. So you come from, you are a devotee of Sri Vaishnava, now you are devoted to Narayan. What about now after so many years being associated with him? Now I am total surrendered to Sri Krishna. Then I said, in few years time we will surrender to Then that was his thing. He's always friendly. His friendliness. He was always friendly. Whenever I type, at any time, he used to reply immediately. Then, when are you coming back to India? I said, I'm coming, almost coming back. Then I said, okay, when you come back, where do you go? I directly go to Vrndavana. Then I said, okay, then what will you do? I'll do bhajan, whatever you say. There is no real agenda after coming back from work. Then he said, okay, very nice. Then I stayed nearby his ashram. Then we had many discussions. In the meantime, and then I got an inspiration right on the 5th canto. Then he said, okay, what are you going to write? Then explain me, write few chapters and show me. Then I said, since you are a scientist, you can write something about it. We could write because we are just take the whatever we hear from the scientists about this. Then I said, okay, I'll write it, no problem. Then I showed 2-3 chapters. Okay, this was nice. Come with me. What are you going to write? Tell me. I said, I'm going to have Shat-Sandarbha on 5th canto. What? 6 volumes? Okay, give me whatever you want to give. Okay, then I started giving all the chapters. He's so accurately, okay, for corrections, English corrections he used to do, then I do put it in the book. So yeah, that was it. That was happening for last 1 year. Every week I come back and then, so I'm just going to and from Hyderabad to Vrndavana, Hyderabad to Vrndavana, every week. So how are you doing? So I want to see you Gurudev and then Govardhan Maharaj. Yes, correct. My Gurudev also used to tell me that there are only 3 personalities in Braj. They are always there. One is Govardhan Maharaj, one is Tulsi Devi and Yamuna. You should always associate with these. Yeah. During the last 2-3 years also he was correcting my chapters. And then the last instruction was, so before you go to Hyderabad, just perform the parikrama. We don't know how long you are going to be. That was the last message. Direct message, indirectly he gave 1 more also. So complete it very quickly. We have to publish it. Anyway, this is not a commercial, but I'll tell you the title of it. Let there be light upon the universe. So it has 6 volumes coming. So 2 will come in at the end of May.
maybe one more. Vedanta Maharaj, a few minutes.
Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyamani Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Tridandi. Namo Vishnupadaya Acharya Kesari Acharya Rupini Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesava Goswami Tridandi. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Tridandi. I have personally, when I was in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, that time one of Prabhuji, he have seva, Gurudev seva in Radha Damodar temple every evening. He going and cleaning the Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi and offering Aarti, Puja. Then after some time I got chance to do Gurudev Pushpa Samadhi seva. Then I met Srila, our dearest God brother, Srila Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj. Many times he used to come for parikrama and darshan. And he used to ask me what book you are reading, how you met Gurudev. And he used to ask me and how you are developing Krishna Bhakti, like this. He always discussing like this. And 2023, when Srila Maharaj, he was in Godrupdeep, he had one scooty. It's maybe green color, blue color. Within these two colors, he had one scooty. He took me in his scooty. What is it, Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu and Harihar, Kshetra. No place with my disciple. He took me many places, and he especially guiding my disciples to how to do Gurudev Bhakti and how to read Gurudev books. He used to guide us. And 1 hour we are discussing Jaiva Dharma. I asked him, Maharaj, which books is your favorite books? And he said, I love Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma is my favorite book, and Jaiva Dharma is my own. So he used to say like this and guiding us. I request to his disciple, of my God brother disciple, I request them to love Gurudev and do seva of Gurudev and fulfill his mission, what he want to do. So this is my request to all his disciples.
we are God brother. I'm very junior. I got initiation 2005. That time he got sannyas diksha. Srila, our one of senior God brother, Tirtha Maharaj, he did yagya. That time our Kesajinoria Math is under construction. That time I got initiation and he got sannyas diksha. Yes. So that time, first time I saw, but no, we have no any close relation. Yes, we know, and I saw Dhir Krishna Prabhu also, when Gurudev giving lecture in Navdeep, in outside area, and he is sitting backside. And Gurudev giving lecture, very deep meaning, and he writing notes about Gopal Champu, Ujjwala Nirmani, some books. And then I saw Tridandi Maharaja also writing, but I am very new because we are on his known, so that I can't understand what is a philosophy, what is means a deep meanings. Then slowly I understand. When I got Srila Bhakti Kamala Govind Maharaj, I got Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bhakti Maharaj, I got in my Srila Bhakti Sarvasa Govind Maharaj. Their association, I understand something. Still I am hearing Gurudev. I am getting new things, new meaning, imagination. And one lecture today I am listening Gurudev, it is 2006 or 7. Gurudev said, if you don't love your God brother, you are not loving your Guru. If you loving your God brother means no one criticizes. No one is perfect. No one is perfect. Everybody has some fault. Only Krishna and Gurudev is perfect. So we don't see our fault. We see our good things. And that good things make us develop in Krishna consciousness. That Dandi Maharaj teaches, because we don't know anything. Dandi Maharaj used to say, because many God brothers made my mistake. Many God brothers criticizing me. This Maharaj is like that, but then I shared with him many things. Then he used to say, Maharaj, if you are not doing anything more, then let them criticize, you go carry on your seva. Don't listen anything. Like this he motivated me. He not let pulling me. He not said, wow, he will say like that. Not like that. He always said me, motivating me. Let them criticize. Don't listen. No, don't listen. Listen only Gurudev. And Gurudev is in form of books. You read Gurudev's, listen Gurudev lecture, and love all Vaishnava. That is always he said me. And when I heard he came to Radhakund, one of my God brother, his name is Sundar Gopal Vasana. Then, due to my preaching center, I didn't get time to go there. Because I also have many centers in India, like Mumbai, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Darjeeling. And by the Gurudev mercy, now I have 9 centers in Hyderabad and South India. So this is painful. This is very painful when we go one who always guiding and suddenly he left this world. Yes, we know the philosophy. Everyone knows philosophy. Vaishnava never die. This philosophy we know, but practical, very difficult. Practical, very difficult. That giving still that emptiness. To whom now I go? My Gurudev is there, then we can think, yes, Gurudev is there. Physical is not present. If I say Bhaktivedanta Maharaj is there, physical is not there. If I say Srila Bhakti Khamar Govind Maharaj is there, is not physical. If someone my well-wisher, if leave this world, how much we get pain? We can't see. We can't see it. That pain, that feelings always in hidden. So they have already have programmed artists. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuveccha Patitanam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.